turning setbacks into stepping stones, the hidden power of life's mistakes. Welcome, everyone. I'm thrilled to be here today, sharing insights that have the power to revolutionize how we view our experiences, our challenges, and even our so-called failures. These transformative ideas come from an extraordinary individual I recently had the privilege of interviewing, Tiffany Archer. Tiffany isn't just a successful entrepreneur or a motivational speaker. She's a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of resilience, and a living example of how we can turn our greatest setbacks into our most significant breakthroughs. Her work in real estate education has empowered countless individuals to take control of their financial futures, but it's her philosophy on life's journey that truly sets her apart. Now, let me ask you a question that might make you squirm in your seat a little. What's the biggest mistake you've ever made? Go ahead, think about it for a moment. I bet just considering that question brought up some uncomfortable feelings, didn't it? Well, what if I told you that the very idea of a mistake is, well, a mistake, I know. It sounds crazy, right? But stick with me here, because this idea has the power to transform your life in ways you can't even imagine. You see, Tiffany Archer shared with me a profound truth that's been percolating in my mind ever since. There are no mistakes in life. Only lessons guiding us toward our purpose. Now, I can almost hear the skeptics among you thinking, come on, what about that time I invested in that startup that went belly up? Or when I dated that person who turned out to be a complete nightmare? Those weren't mistakes? Well, my friends, according to Tiffany, and now according to me, they weren't. They were lessons. Painful, often. Costly, sometimes. But mistakes? Never. Let me share a story that illustrates this point perfectly. Imagine missing out on $1 million real estate investment opportunity. For most of us, that would feel like a devastating loss, a mistake that would haunt us for years, right? We'd beat ourselves up, replay the what ifs in our minds until we drove ourselves crazy. But for Tiffany, this apparent setback became the catalyst for an incredible journey of growth and purpose. Instead of wallowing in regret, she chose to see this missed opportunity as a divine redirection. Now, it ignited a fire within her, pushing her to dive deep into the world of real estate, not just for personal gain, but with a mission to help others start their own investing journeys. Now, Tiffany isn't here to boast about becoming an overnight multimillionaire or a real estate tycoon. Her story is far more relatable and powerful than that. She stands before us as a mother, a wife, a daughter, and a friend, someone who simply refused to give up. She acquired a skill set that transformed her life, and through every challenge, every moment of doubt, she made the conscious choice to keep going. This perspective shift is revolutionary. It challenges us to reframe our understanding of failure and success. It invites us to trust the journey, even when the path seems unclear or fraught with obstacles. But let's be clear, this isn't about blind optimism or ignoring the very real challenges we face. It's about developing a mindset that allows us to see the opportunities for growth in every situation, no matter how difficult. To truly understand the power of this perspective, let's look at some remarkable individuals who embodied this principle in their own lives. First, let me transport you back in time to the early 20th century. Picture a young African-American woman, orphaned at an early age, facing a world rife with poverty, racism, and sexism. A world where the odds were stacked so high against her that most would have given up before even trying. This was the world of Sarah Breedlove, better known as Madam C.J. Walker. Now, Madam Walker could have looked at her circumstances and said, this is my lot in life. This is all I'll ever be. But she didn't. Instead, she looked at every challenge as an opportunity, every setback as a setup for a comeback. When she developed a scalp disorder that caused her to lose her hair, did she wallow in self-pity? No, she saw it as an opportunity to create hair care products for African-American women, a market that had been largely ignored. When she faced rejection and ridicule, did she give up? Absolutely not. She hit the road, traveling extensively to promote her products, turning every no into fuel for her determination. The result? Madam C.J. Walker became one of the wealthiest self-made women of her time, a millionaire in an era when that was almost unheard of for anyone, let alone an African-American woman. But here's the kicker. Her success wasn't just about the money. Madam Walker used her platform to empower other African-American women, providing training and employment opportunities for thousands. She became a symbol of hope and a pioneer in promoting economic independence and self-reliance. Now, I want you to imagine for a moment what would have happened if Madam Walker had viewed her early challenges as mistakes or insurmountable obstacles. The world would have lost not just a successful entrepreneur, but a beacon of hope for countless individuals. But let's fast forward a bit to a more recent story, one that might hit a little closer to home for some of us. Picture this. You're a single father, you've just lost your job, and you find yourself homeless, sleeping in public restrooms with your young son. Your dream is to become a stockbroker, but you don't even have a place to shower, let alone a suit to wear to interviews. Sounds like a series of catastrophic mistakes, right? A string of failures that would break most people? Well, not if you're Chris Gardner. For Gardner, these weren't mistakes or failures. They were challenges, yes, but also opportunities. Opportunities to show his son the power of perseverance, opportunities to prove to himself and the world that circumstances don't define destiny. Did Gardner have moments of doubt? You bet he did. There were times when he probably wanted to give up, to accept that maybe his dreams were too big, too unrealistic. But here's where the magic happens. In those moments of doubt, Gardner chose to keep going. He chose to see his struggles not as mistakes, but as part of his journey. And what a journey it was. Gardner went from sleeping in a subway bathroom to becoming a successful stockbroker and later founding his own brokerage firm. His story was even turned into a Hollywood movie starring Will Smith. But here's the thing. Gardner's success isn't just about the rags to riches story. It's about the mindset that got him there. It's about seeing every setback as a setup for a comeback. It's about understanding that what looks like a mistake might just be life redirecting you to where you need to be. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, sure, these are great stories, but they're exceptions. Not everyone can turn their life around like that. And you know what? You're right, not everyone does, but everyone can. The difference isn't in the circumstances, it's in the mindset. It's in how we choose to view our challenges and our so-called mistakes. Which brings me to our final story, one that I'm sure many of you are familiar with. It's the story of a young girl born into poverty in rural Mississippi. A girl who faced abuse, racism, and countless other challenges. A girl who, by all accounts, should have become just another statistic. But this girl, Oprah Winfrey, chose to see her challenges not as mistakes or obstacles, but as fuel for her dreams. When Oprah was fired from her first TV job as an anchor, she could have seen it as a career-ending mistake. She could have decided that maybe she wasn't cut out for television after all, but instead she saw it as a redirection. She used that experience to fuel her passion for connecting with people in a more authentic way. The result? Well, I probably don't need to tell you. Oprah became not just a successful talk show host, but a media mogul, a philanthropist, and one of the most influential women in the world. But here's what I want you to understand about Oprah's story. It's not about the fame or the fortune. It's about the impact. It's about how she used every challenge, every setback, every apparent mistake as an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to help others. Now, I can see some of you shifting uncomfortably in your seats. You might be thinking, that's great for Madam C.J. Walker, Chris Gardner, and Oprah. They're exceptional people. But what about me? I'm just an ordinary person trying to make it through the day. And that, my friends, is exactly why I'm sharing these stories with you today. Because the truth is, Madam C.J. Walker, Chris Gardner, and Oprah Winfrey were all just ordinary people too. They faced extraordinary challenges, yes, but what made them exceptional wasn't their circumstances. It was their mindset. They chose to see their challenges not as mistakes, but as lessons. They chose to view their setbacks not as failures, but as redirections. They chose to trust the journey, even when the path seemed unclear or fraught with obstacles. And that choice, that mindset, is available to each and every one of us. So I want you to think back to that biggest mistake I asked you about at the beginning of this talk. How does it look to you now? Can you see how it might have been guiding you towards your purpose? How it might have been teaching you a valuable lesson? Now, I'm not saying this shift in perspective is easy. It's not. It requires a conscious effort, a willingness to challenge our ingrained beliefs about success and failure. But I promise you it's worth it. Because when we stop seeing our challenges as mistakes and start seeing them as lessons, we open ourselves up to incredible growth and opportunities. We become more resilient, more adaptable, and ultimately more successful, not just in our careers, but in our lives as a whole. So, what if we all started approaching life with this mindset? What if, instead of beating ourselves up over our mistakes, we asked ourselves, what is this teaching me? How is this guiding me toward my purpose? Imagine a world where we all embraced our challenges as opportunities for growth, where we saw our setbacks not as failures, but as setups for comebacks, where we trusted the journey even when the path seemed unclear. That's the world I'm inviting you to create, starting right here, right now. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with a challenge. For the next week, I want you to try something. Every time you face a setback, every time you make what you would normally call a mistake, I want you to pause, take a deep breath, and then ask yourself these questions. What can I learn from this? How might this be guiding me toward my purpose? What opportunity for growth does this present? It might feel awkward at first. You might even feel a bit silly, but stick with it because I promise you, this simple shift in perspective has the power to transform your life in ways you can't even imagine. Remember, there are no mistakes in life, only lessons guiding us toward our purpose. Every step, every twist, and every turn is leading you exactly where you're meant to be in divine timing. So embrace the journey, trust the process, and never, ever give up on your dreams or on yourself. Thank you.